Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I lost my baby girl 6 years ago.
A mother still grieving.
My mom has said she wished it was me who had passed and not Kayleen.
I never said that.
Does she blame her other children?
Did you try to run her over with a car?
No, I didn't.
You were in the hospital with a life-threatening disease.
And you didn't even come. But you didn't tell us that we needed to be there.
Oh, God. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'm trying to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Thank you. All right, take a look at this happy family who once spent time with each other on a regular basis. But that was almost 10 years ago, before a tragedy hit their family that would change their lives forever.
6 years ago, almost to the day, we had our first snowfall of the season.
Kayleen was 16 years old. She'd only had her driver's license for about 6 weeks.
Kayleen went to run an errand and got lost in the snow. Time had passed, and I knew that she should have been home, and I thought something was wrong. I got into my car and went to look for her and came upon police, fire engines, and paramedics. I saw her car and started screaming.
Kayleen hit a patch of black ice, and her car veered off the road into a tree, and she was killed instantly.
Kayleen died while driving home from an errand. She crashed her SUV into a tree.
The landowner where she crashed told Kayleen's family he's been trying to get a guardrail on this section of road for decades.
I went up to a police officer and said, "That's my baby girl. That's my baby girl." And I fell to the ground.
Losing Kayleen was the most difficult thing that has happened in my life so far. Parents aren't supposed to outlive your children.
Having to bury a child is the worst thing you can even imagine. There was close to 1,000 people at her memorial service. My world ended that day. I didn't want to live anymore. I lost my baby girl 6 years ago, and I feel like for the rest of my life, I'm going to be stuck in this bubble of grief and not know how to get out.
Kayleen's mother, Debbie, says 6 years later, her pain is still horrible. And in fact, it's getting worse. Debbie's daughter, Shaughnessy, says she believes her mother's grief has also turned into anger, causing her to blame her and her brother for Kayleen's death to this very day.
My sister Kayleen's death has had a huge effect on my relationship with my mother. My mom blames me for my sister Kayleen's death. My mom has said if I hadn't left and had my own family, maybe I could have saved her.
My mom has flat out told me that she wishes it was Shaughnessy who had died and not Kayleen, because Kayleen was a perfect child.
She completely ignores me. When it comes to my mom, every conversation comes back to Kayleen.
I'm so disappointed with my daughter, Shaughnessy. It's just that her and Justin want their old mom back, and I can never be that person anymore.
Months ago, my mom came with us to go visit college with my goddaughter. My mom kept saying that she didn't want to tour the college because she couldn't do it with Kayleen. I was so angry. My mom and I got into a huge argument on the drive home. We stopped, I got out of the car, and in a vindictive moment, I grabbed her cell phone.
My phone had over 1,000 pictures of my daughter, Kayleen, on it.
What my mom decided to do was back the car up and then try to run me over. Not only did she do it once, but she did it over and over again.
I wasn't trying to run my daughter over.
My mom would have been perfectly content killing me that day. My mom screamed that she was going to take me out of this world.
The police showed up and they wanted to charge me with domestic assault. I was so angry. I blocked her from my phone. I blocked her from my Facebook.
She cut me out of her life.
You know, first off, let me say to you, however long we're here talking about this, one thing you won't hear me say is I know how you feel, because I haven't buried a child, so I'm not pretending that I do know. But maybe that's okay for what we're doing here. And I'm very sorry for your loss, and I'm very sorry for your loss. I mean, you lost your sister, but you also feel like you've lost your mother.
Absolutely, I have lost my mother.
You're the one that wrote into the show.
Yes, sir.
You said, "Dear Dr. Phil, on December 4th, 2009, my 16-year-old sister was killed in a terrible car accident. She was the glue that held our family together. The anniversary of her death is fast approaching. 6 years later, we are worse than the day it happened. Since her death, our once inseparable family is at war. I have tried every measure I know possible, read every book, article, etc., to help put our family back together, but nothing works. Dr. Phil is our only hope. I'm begging, please help us before someone else dies and it's too late. The grandkids need their grandparents, and we need to heal as a family. I'm desperate. Sincerely, Shaughnessy, a daughter lost in the battle."
And that's exactly what I feel like.
So I'm still hurting, and I'm always going to hurt. Okay? I'm trying to get well. I'm using every avenue I can.
Okay.
That's not true.
I'm seeing a grief counselor.
Let me ask you a couple of questions then. Because you even said that you're in pain, and maybe even worse pain than at the time.
Yes.
6 years later.
Yes.
Okay. Then I need to know some things.
Okay.
You must feel a tremendous amount of guilt if you're feeling worse than you did then. Something is causing you to be really, really stuck. Do you feel guilty about her death?
Yes.
What did you do that you feel so guilty about?
As a parent, I should have not allowed her to drive in the snow that night.
Did you send her on an errand? Was she on an errand for you?
No, she went to go get her asthma inhaler, and then, yes, I sent her on an errand for me also.
Okay, so you're saying as a mother, you allowed a 16-year-old inexperienced driver to operate a motor vehicle on ice on an errand for you, and she wound up dead.
I didn't know that there was going to be ice. I didn't know that she was going to get lost. And nobody can take away that guilt that I feel.
Have you also, at times, in your pain, said, "I wish it was Shaughnessy that was killed instead of Kayleen"? I
said I would have thought it would have been Shaughnessy because of the choices that she was making.
Well, that's not what Justin said.
That
Have you said to Shaughnessy that you wish it had been Justin that was killed instead of Kayleen?
No, I never said that.
That is not true. At times, at different times throughout, since Kayleen passed away, in the very beginning when she first died and Justin was laying with you, you told him that you had wished it was me, that I had lived my life and I was the mess up. I was the fuck up in the family.
I don't ever remember saying that, Dr. Phil. That is not something I would say. I said that I would
But you understand that both of them believe that's what you said. Both of them perceive that's what you have said.
I honestly swear that I never said something, or I don't ever recall.
She did say it.
All right, Debbie's son Justin has been listening backstage. We're going to hear what he has to add to this about their family that's completely divided since the death of his youngest sister after the break.
All my mom would do is talk about my sister. She idolized Kayleen. Kayleen could do no wrong. My mom has said that she wished it was me who had passed and not been Kayleen. We haven't spoken or hardly even seen each other in 2 years.
And later,
When you scream out the window, I'm going to run you over.
I didn't mean to do it, Dr. Phil.
The first time you
You are honestly trying to say that? Okay, I'm not going to do this.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil,
The search for a 15-year-old girl is picking up.
a teen goes missing.
She just vanished.
But after weeks of searching,
My daughter has been found 700 miles away.
she was allegedly held against her will in the home of a 41-year-old man.
for the first time since her rescue,
He told me I needed to do anything he wanted.
she speaks out.
Were you wondering if you were going to get out of there alive?
That's tomorrow.
20 years ago, I was working for a bank. The bank was robbed. The robber came to me, handed me a note, and showed me a gun. That moment has forever changed my life. Since then, I have suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. I would rather be locked up in my bedroom.
My mother's PTSD, I feel like it's been used as a scapegoat. It's easier to act like you're crazy. She uses it as an excuse to be irrational.
I think my mom has used her PTSD as a manipulation tactic, a way to get sympathy.
That was Debbie talking about how she was held up at gunpoint while working at a bank 20 years ago. As a result, Debbie believes she suffers from PTSD, which causes her to be unable to stop grieving over the death of her 16-year-old daughter. Kayleen, a popular cheerleader who lost her life after her car lost control on black ice and ran into a tree 6 years ago. Now, Debbie's son Justin believes his mother's grief is exhausting because she's made everything about her at the expense of being there 100% for her surviving children.
Before my sister's death, my mom and I had a wonderful relationship.
We were very, very close. We spoke every single day.
I was so concerned about my mom and the way she was grieving after Kayleen's death that I asked her to move in with me and my family.
That was a horrible idea. My daughter had only been gone a few months. I don't think they knew how to handle my crying every day.
My mom has said that she wished it was me who had passed and not been Kayleen. I think it'd be easier for her to deal with her grief if it was me or Shaughnessy who had passed. She idolized Kayleen. Kayleen could do no wrong. All my mom would do is talk about my sister. My mom always speaking about Kayleen and reverting everything back to Kayleen has affected my family.
Justin has said that I cry too much around the grandchildren.
My oldest daughter was affected by it. She was afraid to go to sleep for a month because of death. I finally got to the point where I couldn't handle my mother anymore. We haven't spoken or hardly even seen each other in 2 years.
Justin, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry for your loss with regard to your sister. And as I said to Shaughnessy, you feel like this has cost you not only your sister, but your mother and fractured the entire family, correct?
Absolutely.
You say that she has blamed you for Kayleen's death. What is it you did or didn't do?
I had no idea. She just constantly thinks that it should have been me or her instead because Kayleen was such a good child.
Well, I've been told that if I had answered a phone call that my sister placed to me, like apparently on the day of her death, and that had I answered the phone, maybe she wouldn't have passed away.
I don't know where you got that at. That was...
You told me that.
This is ridiculous.
Did you say that if he had taught her to drive on ice?
No, she took a driving class. I don't know where you guys are coming up with.
Mom, you say these things.
You don't realize you say these things, but you do.
Dr. Phil, it's gotten so bad that when they call me now, I'm having to tape things because they're saying that I'm saying things that I'm not saying.
Everyone is lying, but you. You're the only one.
Do you remember trying to run her over with the car?
Yes, I do, and I can tell you exactly what happened that day.
Well, did you try to run her over with a car?
Yes.
No, I didn't try to.
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Do you see the problem here? Because there's no accountability. When you scream out the window, I'm going to run you over. I'm going to take you from your girls the way that Kayleen was taken from me. You said those things. Why would I make that up? It doesn't even make sense.
Because you're a manipulative person.
But that's not.
Very
if I'm a
much so.
manipulative person, it's because over the years, I've learned it from somebody.
Okay.
The Hanover County Department of Emergency Communications call record form from June 28, 2015.
Here we go.
Two females are arguing. A female in an Impala tried to hit the other person with the car. The caller stepped in and made the vehicle leave. Now, this was a third party. This wasn't...
You're a liar.
This wasn't you calling or you calling.
What else have you lied to me about?
Why would this strange person call and say they stepped in and made you and your car leave?
What happened, Dr. Phil, was that Shaughnessy took my cell phone. I asked her for my cell phone back. She told me no and kept on walking. I was following behind her. It had been raining. I slammed brakes, and when I slammed brakes, the car went forward, and it did almost hit her. And it did come about, I swear, it was like real close to her, okay? She turned around, and she started yelling. About that time, a man in a car pulls up in front of me and says, "If you don't leave, I'm going to call the police." She yells, "You don't have to. I've already called the police." That's what made me think that it was her that called the police.
Well, I'm not interested so much in who called the police. I'm interested in whether or not you're putting your daughter's life in jeopardy out on a road in the rain using a car as a means of intimidation.
I didn't mean to do it, Dr. Phil.
You don't slide in the grass 3 times. You came at me 3. The first time you bumped
You are honestly trying to say that? Okay, I'm not going to do this.
You guys have resentment towards her at this point.
Absolutely.
You feel abandoned?
Yes.
Abandoned? That's a good word.
Clearly, you feel misunderstood.
Very much so.
And if you're saying half of what they're saying you're saying, just say half. Say half of it is misperception, half of it is correct. Then this grief process has become toxic. And something needs to happen. And that's what I want to talk about. I don't want all of this bickering. I want to hit the reset button and just take a break. Coming up, Justin and Shaughnessy believe their stepfather and Kayleen's dad is part of the problem by enabling their mother's behavior. But he says they're just jealous of his wife's love for their deceased teen daughter. We'll hear from him next.
You're delusional because you think you didn't have a childhood. Yes.
Did I not raise my sister?
No.
Dr. Phil, they're flat out lying.
And later, you got some fans in the house, man.
This is good. Good-looking girls.
Yeah, leave the girls alone. Come on.
In order to keep my daughter Kayleen's memory alive, we had pins and bracelets made up. I have a necklace with angel wings and her picture. I have another necklace that's gold with her name on it. I have a pin that has her picture. I have 4 or 5 tie bracelets. My husband made me a heart locket that has her ashes in it. I even have tattoos of her. One is a portrait of her over a prayer feather. Another one is a baby angel.
In regards to my mom's pins and necklaces and buttons, it becomes too much. It's excessive. When you're walking to a grocery store and somebody's like, "Oh, that's a beautiful girl" on the button, and then you're in a 30-minute conversation about the whole incident, and seeing my mother cry, seeing the reaction on the people's face when all they wanted was to say that the girl looked beautiful.
Now, Debbie's husband and Kayleen's father, Jay, says he believes that Debbie has to grieve her own way, and her surviving children, Shaughnessy and Justin, must stop being hard on her.
I believe Shaughnessy and Justin are definitely way too hard on Deb. They don't think that Deb should be grieving this long. The fact that they feel that way, it's infuriating. I believe they are jealous of Kayleen because they were so close. I think Shaughnessy and Justin are starving for attention from Deb. The grieving process takes time. Until both of them grow up and understand the grieving process, I don't think anything's going to change amongst our family.
Jay, thanks for joining us. I agree with a couple of things that you've said. Everybody does grieve in their own way. And that these two are starving, hungry for their mother's attention. And I think you should be hugely flattered that your children want you in their life, that they want their mom, that they want all their mom back. So what part of that do you think is not right?
The biggest thing I see is that they want her to get better, but their actions don't allow her. They say things to her, mean-spirited things. When you do that, you're not helping her get better. You're actually causing more damage to her because she has no time to grieve. She has to worry about you guys.
Are you helping her get better?
It's enabling.
There is no enabling.
You are.
Yes, you are.
There
You
is
tell
no
her the
enabling.
truth. You don't tell her the truth.
I tell her the truth.
How come you and I can have a
time.
conversation, but you can't tell her that conversation that you and I convey? How come you can't do that? You enable her.
I tell her.
You do not. You enable her.
The problem is, one thing about you, I think some of it's you're delusional because you think you didn't have a childhood. Your mom and I gave you guys everything we could give you.
Did I have a childhood?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I not raise my sister?
Yes.
No. Did I not raise my sister?
Yes.
No.
No.
my
Dr. Phil, they're flat out lying.
You did not raise
I sacrificed
her.
my teenage years to stay at home, to be with my mother, to help raise my sister while he was out on deployment. I was the one that took her to gymnastics. I was the one that took her to Girl Scouts. It was like my daughter. And now they're going to take that away from me and tell me that I don't know, that I was a spoiled little brat?
I want you to acknowledge to me, please, right now, that, because one of the fights that you and I got into that really started our not talking again was that you believed her, that she did not try to run me over with the car, and that I was the one that called 911. We just saw, nope, hold on. We just saw that, one, I was not the one that called 911, and two, a complete stranger was saying, there's a woman trying to run another woman over.
Okay. I talked to the police officer. That gentleman told me that it came from you, was the phone call came from you, that they called 911.
Okay, so but acknowledge now, right now, in front of everybody, please.
You weren't letting anybody finish.
Please.
Just as normal.
Acknowledge that I was not lying.
Honestly.
They can't.
At that time.
We're the liars.
You're not lying. Okay? You're not lying with that, okay? Because this came from the Hanover County.
Debbie says her son Justin has gotten mean and petty by pushing her away from her grandchildren.
Yes.
We're
Very
going
much
to,
so.
I'm going to talk about what has to happen here, or I'm going to send some of these folks away and talk to some of them without them here, because I'm not going to do this. We'll be right back.
4 weeks in the hospital, almost died.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
You're laughing, you're smiling. I don't think this is funny. You didn't even come.
After Kayleen's death, my PTSD got worse. It is so bad that I have 2 service dogs. I take my service dog everywhere.
When it comes to the service dogs, I believe she picks and chooses when it's necessary for her to need them and not need them. I think she uses them as a scapegoat.
It's just another attention tactic. I feel like her service dogs are glorified pets, and it's a joke.
Look, stress changes people. It makes us do things and say things that we wouldn't do if we weren't under pressure. And everybody's been hurt here. And you feel like that all this tension has created a real fracture that is creating new damage. you're not able to see the grandchildren, and that's painful to you. You were recently in the hospital with a life-threatening disease. You say you were in there for a month and didn't hear a peep out of your mother until you were 2 or 3 days from discharge, right?
4 weeks in the hospital, almost died. Family was called, said, you know, you need to get here. It's bad, but I don't see my mom at all. Now, you lost one daughter.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
You're laughing, you're smiling. I don't think this is funny.
You're right.
You
It's not funny.
one daughter.
You're right.
In a
It's not
car
funny.
accident, and you could have lost another one, and you will eventually lose another one, because this will kill me. And you didn't even come. Like, you didn't come to the hospital.
First of all, I did not hear about it. You did not call us until...
You were in the hospital a week before we even heard anything.
You found out the first week, so what
No,
about
I
the
didn't.
other 3 weeks?
I didn't.
Do the two of you have any sensibility to the fact that what she's telling you is that she feels like, whether you agree with the details of the perception or not, does it matter to you that your daughter feels as though she was in the hospital with a life-threatening disease and feels as though you did not make her a priority? I'm not asking whether you agree with the sequence of events, the timing or not, but the fact that she feels as though she was not a priority to you when she was on a death watch.
I do acknowledge that. I do acknowledge that, yes.
And do you have anything to say to her about those feelings?
We have talked about this so many times that I don't know how many more times she wants to discuss this. I've explained it to her.
I didn't ask you. No. Stop. You did not get there. You were not at her bedside, and she feels that she did not matter to you. You wear a button for Kayleen. You cry about her every day. You talk about her to anybody that will listen, but you would not come and be by her side. That's what she feels.
I needed you so bad. I needed both of you. And I'm still scared, and I still need you guys. But what
yes,
about me?
we made a mistake and weren't there when we should have been. Yeah,
But
we
you
could have
didn't
made.
tell us that we needed to be there, Shaughnessy.
Mom.
You know,
Bear yourself.
Mom.
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you now.
Okay.
I'm telling you. I need you guys. I need you guys to be in my life now.
I truly believe that you believe if you ever let the pain go, then you're letting her go.
And later, John Stamos gives us a sneak peek at a Dr. Phil acting cameo.
We tried to get the most handsome doctor that we could find to be on Grandfather.
Yeah, right.
And there we go.
Yeah.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, a missing daughter found.
Allegedly held against her will.
She reveals the nightmare she says she lived through.
He told me I needed to do anything he wanted.
That's tomorrow.
Closed captioning provided by...
If you have high blood pressure like I do, many cold medicines may raise your blood pressure. Coricidin HBP relieves cold symptoms without raising blood pressure. Coricidin HBP.
Debbie, you have to understand that you have a Kayleen bucket, and you come over here and you have a Justin bucket, and you come over here and you have a Shaughnessy bucket. You know, these are love buckets. And how much you take out of your Shaughnessy bucket to give to her does not affect what the level is in the Kayleen bucket or the Justin bucket. These are independent. It's not the same.
That wasn't what I was saying, Dr. Phil.
It's what I'm saying, Debbie.
I know that. That was such a great analogy, and I feel like you believe if you love Justin and I, you too, or the kids, or whatever, that it's taking away from Kayleen's memory.
You
and
guys
that's
are
not
the ones
case.
that keep the grandkids from us.
Mom, it's not.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about something else right now. Grief is a process. Everybody grieves differently. A process means that something's happening. A process means that something's in motion. You're not in motion. I truly believe that you believe that all you have right now with this connection with Kayleen is your pain. And that if you ever let the pain go, then you're letting her go. And what you have to understand is that moving on is not a betrayal of Kayleen. It is not a betrayal of her memory. I believe that those that pass are given the privilege to look down and see what is happening. And there's an interesting story about children in heaven, how all the children are together in heaven, and every day they're all sitting around, and God comes and they light a candle and they all go running and playing and walking with God with their candle. But one little girl sits there by herself. And they ask her, why won't you come and light your candle and run and play with the rest of us? And she says, well, I can't. Because every time I light my candle, my mother's tears put it out. My mother's tears put it out. So I can never be free. She lived like 10,000 days. She died one day. And you're stuck on the one day she died instead of celebrating the 10,000 days she lived. One life was lost. Let's not destroy all these others. You hear what I'm saying?
Can you do it for us?
Tell me I'm making sense to you.
You're making a lot of sense.
Let's choose for this family to be healed. Let's choose to move on beyond this. Can you make that commitment?
I can.
Can you make that commitment? Can you make that commitment?
I can try, yes.
I don't want you to try to do it. I want you to do it. Every situation needs a hero. Be the hero in your family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what I want. Okay. Now we're about to meet a man who many were surprised to learn plays a grandfather on TV. Find out who this man is and my personal connection to him next. We'll be right back.
We did the reading of this particular episode, and we didn't know who was going to play the doctor, and it was this dry, kind of, you know, crotchety dude. And
just came right to me, right?
No.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445. Before the break, I said I was going to be sitting down with another grandfather, but it's not exactly what you think. I was recently invited to appear in the Fox hit TV show Grandfathered, playing the part not of me, but of a doctor whose patient is Jimmy, a middle-aged man who is living the ultimate bachelor life. Great career, nice apartment, and a busy social life with the ladies. Until he finds out his girlfriend from back in the day secretly gave birth to his son, who has since had a child of his own. So cameras followed me as I shot scenes with the very talented executive producer and star of the show, actor John Stamos. Take a look. Well, that was an extremely unpleasant 20 minutes, but I must say you are in terrific health.
That's what I keep telling everybody.
There is one thing. I found a suspicious mole on your arm. I'd like to take a biopsy. It's probably nothing, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Sorry about what exactly?
It could be skin cancer.
Really?
There's less than a 2% chance that it's anything at all.
I'm not going to stress out over some splotch on my arm that has 2% chance of being dangerous. You know who has a 2% chance of winning an Oscar? The Rock. You don't see him out shopping for a tuxedo, right, Doc?
God, I hate our dynamic.
Back at you.
Please welcome actor and executive producer John Stamos.
Hey, buddy. Nice to see you.
John Stamos. All right.
Thanks for having me.
You got some fans in the house, man.
This is good. Good-looking girls.
Yeah, good-looking girls. Leave the girls alone. Come on.
We tried to get the most handsome doctor that we could find to be on Grandfather.
Yeah, right.
And there we go.
Yeah.
No kidding. When I first saw him, we hadn't had the pleasure of meeting before, and he came in and he was wearing a T-shirt, and you were built like a brick, house.
Yeah. I keep that under wraps. In case I move like a cat, too.
Yeah,
in case
I've seen your moves.
So last time I saw you, you were bent over a table in a hospital gown. And,
well, that was this weekend. But remember we did the show, too?
Yeah, we did that. Well, that was, yeah. No, that was fun. I had a good time doing that.
You were fantastic. We are so grateful. You know, we did the reading of this particular episode, and we didn't know who was going to play the doctor. And it was this dry kind of, crotchety dude. And I was going down a road.
Just came right to me, right?
No. We tried Bradley Cooper. He wasn't available. So we went with you, and he was so funny and so sweet to do it. He actually came in, ad-libbed a bunch of stuff. We had a joke. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't.
We had a joke where he asked for a urine sample, and he puts it, like, on the other side of the room, like over here. And I'm over there, and I said, from here? And he goes, in your dreams, It's great.
We had a good time.
This particular show, I'm so proud of. I don't know if you guys seen it yet? It's, it's really good, and it has all the elements that I love about television. Family and heart, and and pretty good sense of humor.
Yeah, and the show's doing great. I mean, you guys are knocking it out of the park. Is it fun playing this part? I mean, you're a grandfather.
Yeah. You're a grandfather, too, right?
I am a grandfather. Yeah. I'm a real grandfather.
Yeah, well,
I'm old enough to be a grandfather.
Right. I just play one on TV.
I got real grandkids.
Yeah.
Look at these grandkids I've got. These are the real deal grandkids.
How is it?
Yeah, this is Avery in London.
And someday they're going to inherit a lot of money.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just a young, struggling psychologist.
I mean, I've seen your work.
Yeah. So Robin was there watching. When I said, I'm going to shoot a thing with John Stamos, she started getting her purse, she started getting her stuff. She said, I'm going. Say hi to Robin.
Hi, Robin.
There she is. Yeah.
She was so sweet. You were very sweet to be down there. And I remember I said, hey, is that your wife? And she said, yeah, stay away from her. Yeah. And I was wearing a gown, I was sort of open. It was a little breezy in the back.
Yeah.
And you're like, Stamos, get on your trailer.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So, I guess there's a lot of Emmy buzz about my guest appearance. I keep waiting for him to call me back, but I have, I'm watching, I'm sitting by the phone, it never rings. I mean, I'm like,
well, you should be my regular doctor, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you should come back and check for STDs or something. I mean, it'd be something, right? Check you out for something.
I know.
I don't know. It was fun. But I think I'll keep my day job if it's all right with you.
Well, you could do both because you were very, very good. He was really very good. We were all impressed.
So, it actually airs tonight.
Yeah, right.
So, everybody, if all of my fans don't watch tonight, I'm going to be really hurt tomorrow. So be sure and watch Grandfathered on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 8:30 on Fox. And you can also catch my guest appearance tonight, and you don't want to miss it. You know, the other night, somebody had the nerve to tell me I had no friends that were young and hip. Well, I beg to differ. I'll explain when we come back. In the meantime, thanks, John. Closed captioning provided by...
Look at this face. You think I'd feed him anything but the best? That's why he gets Blue Buffalo. Because when you love him like family, you want to feed him like family.
Ready to get real? Go to drphil.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episodes, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. Well, I said earlier somebody was teasing me saying I don't have any young, hip friends. Well, that's not true. My friend Freedom Wynn is here today. Say hello, Freedom. I want you to remember that name because this guy is taking off in the music LA scene. He has a new single called Just Saying that you can download on iTunes. And you are going to love it. Remember, I'm the one that told you this name. Take a look.
Believe they know the name. Money I turn a million times. Now we're friends with everyone. Dancing on the rooftops, chasing the sun. No, we won't stop. We can't stop. Tonight I feel like $1 million. Put it on black, let's live it up. Win or lose, we don't give up. Cause we started from the bottom, so the only way is up. Just saying. Now they screaming my name. Just saying. Yeah, we up in this game. Just saying that we started from the bottom, so the only way is up. Just saying, just saying, just saying. Just saying, just saying, just saying. Black jeans, black top, black everything.
I want to thank all of my guests today, including actor John Stamos. Be sure and watch Grandfathered on Tuesdays at 8:30 on the Fox Network. You can also catch my guest appearance tonight. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you next time.
I feel like $1 million.